Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave. This is Olive, and we mostly talk about books. Although for this, we're also going to have to talk about some movies. So it's that time of year again. It is Horror Mayhem, which we read horror in the month of May. So this is a event that was started by Scott and Becky Bryant. As many of you know, we unfortunately lost Scott, but we are continuing on with Becky's blessing with the continuation of this event. So basically, what we do throughout the month of May, we focus on horror. And the idea is to make it not too burdensome, right? So basically, the idea is just to read some short horror. Try to focus on horror things. I mean, you can read whatever you want, of course, but the idea is focus on horror pieces, novels, or short stories that are 250 pages or less. And the idea is to just, even if you're like new to horror, you can kind of dip your feet in and just try it out and see if you give it a shot. Because I will tell you personally, before I started BookTube, I never read horror. I don't think I'd read a single horror book. And it is one of my favorite genres now. So maybe you're like me and you could try out this event. It's low pressure. You could do it for the month. You could do it 1 week, whatever. Just try out something short and give it a try. See if you think you like it. So this year we are going with a theme. I think the final decision was to go with Decades of Dread, which is to, read horror from different decades, each week or however you want to do it. But that is, like with a lot of these reading events, that's just guidance. You don't have to do it that way if you don't want to. It's just some people like a little extra structure and stuff. So I can tell you, we are not going to be focusing on all different decades. We're just going to read a number of short horror books that we have wanted to read for a while. So I'll tell you the way that we do it. All the number of different co-hosts, they'll all be listed below. And we'll tell you what we're doing in case it works for you, or if any of you want to read any of these along with us. But obviously, everybody should do what they're most interested in reading. So the way we do it is the last couple of years we've done this. The way we do it is each week we read a short horror, horror novella, and then we supplement with some horror short stories to the extent that we have time that week. That's worked pretty well for us. It keeps us on track and it's not too burdensome. So this is what we're planning to read. We will probably read them in this order, but we are flexible. So if anybody's interested in buddy reading something with us, we can change this. So the first one was one of our extras that we never got to last Horror Mayhem, which is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. So there's a lot of hubbub about this book. A lot of people like this book. This basically is tied to the fall of the House of Usher. So this is what Kingfisher does. Does a lot of, or a number of books that are basically tied to some old classic. Like we had read another one called The Hollow Places, which we enjoyed, that was tied to the famous horror novella The Willows. So same thing. This is tied to the famous The Fall of the House of Usher. And so we are pretty excited. And look at that cover. What an amazing cover. So we got this a little while ago, and it just, we meant to read it last Horror Mayhem, didn't get to it, and then we kind of figured we'd just save it until this Horror Mayhem. So this will be the first one that we read. Probably the second week, we will be reading Ring Shout by, I don't know how to pronounce his name, P. Daly Clark. I hope that's at least close. And so this I think crosses a number of different genres, but it's definitely horror. And this is based on, so this is basically set in a time where, the Ku Klux Klan has come to power and is terrorizing, people. And there is a band of resistance fighters that are like hunting these Ku Klux Klan members. But there's more to it than that. There's like the Ku Klux Klan members, I think, are kind of, there's like a demonic element, and so supposedly it's really good. So that's pretty much the extent of what I know about it. But we've wanted to read this for a while, so we're pretty excited to do that one. I think probably, just to ease it up a little bit, probably the third week we'll read. We wanted to incorporate we have some horror manga. And so we have, in particular, we have a number of volumes from Junji Ito, who, as you may know, is the most famous horror manga author. And so we've read a few of those, and so we have another collection that we figured we would try reading this Horror Mayhem. We've read Junji Ito for Horror Mayhem in the past. So this one is called Love Sickness. And this one is, I don't remember when this one came out. This was, it's a few years old now. This is 2021. And this one has, I think, 13 tales in it. So it's a bunch of short stories of, Junji Ito has really, really creepy art. Look at that. That's like, just to give you a little sampling, it's pretty cool stuff. So we don't really know anything about the stories. It's a collection of different stories, but we'll probably do that week 3, kind of break up the book reading a little bit. And then for week 4, I think we'll read This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. So this is a book we've been sitting on for a little while. This is one of a handful of books that Pax had sent us, Pax Panic, who loved horror, who we also lost almost 2 years ago now. And so I wanted to read one of the books that she had sent us, right, Olive? And this one sounds very interesting. I know she liked this. This is what are their names? Vera and Thiago. They get this, what's it called? An Itza, which is like an Alexa. I think it's like one of these like home smart devices. And it starts doing some strange things, like on its own, and they start getting like weird packages in the middle of the night and stuff like that. And then one of them dies, and then the other one is trying to deal with that and trying to escape, but of course there is no escape. And so that's pretty much what it's about. It sounds pretty cool. So, all right. So that's 4 books, 4 weeks. We don't want to get too ambitious about it because there's some other stuff. We usually have a backup book or 2, but there's other things we want to read, so we don't want to get too we don't burden ourselves too much with the horror. We will continue to work out. Then we supplement with short stories. So we will continue to work out of this one, which is, we've been working out of this the last 2 years. The Best of H.P. Lovecraft, blood-curdling tales of horror and the macabre. So if you're not familiar with Lovecraft, we learned about Lovecraft from Lovecraft's famous, but we got really interested in Lovecraft from listening to Michael K. Vaughan, wonderful channel, one of the co-hosts of Horror Mayhem. And so we got this book, and we read a novella of his, The Mountains of Madness, which was really good. That was some time ago. But so we've been working out of this. Their stories are not, they're hefty stories. It's not, this is, for horror, this is very, very sophisticated prose. And a fair bit of the stories, they're not short. So we're still working out of this baby. And so every year we do a few out of this, and it's been fun having a little dose of Lovecraft throughout. And then another one is we last year we read one of the short stories we read was out of this, Harlan Ellison's Deathbird Stories, and it was an intense horror story. What was it called? The Whimper of Whipped Dogs. And so these are not all horror stories, I don't think. This was sent to us by our good friend Gareth at Book Songs and Other Magic, who is also a co-host of Horror Mayhem. We really enjoyed that story last year, so we want to read like another one or two out of this horror mayhem. But we're gonna have to ask Gareth which ones, because I'm not sure which ones are more of the horror and which are more like sci-fi side or whatever. So yeah, so that's it. That's what we're planning to. Those are the books that we're planning to read for this horror mayhem. Let us know if you're interested in reading any of these with us. What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, Ring Shout by P. Daley Clark. I don't know how to say it. I'm so sorry. Little horror manga, Love Sickness Collection by Junji Ito, and This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. And we will be supplementing with Lovecraft and Harlan Ellison short stories. So let us know if you're partaking in Horror Mayhem. If you want to read any of these with us, of course, let us know. Right, Olive? If you're... let us know if you're partaking, but you already have your other stuff lined up for the month. Let us know. We'd be really interested to hear what everybody else is reading. Or if you are going to try Horror Mayhem for the first time and or horror for the first time, and you want these don't sound interesting to you, but you want some recommendations of some easy, short horror books, let us know. We can definitely give you some good recommendations. We've read some ones in the past that are very easy and very good for, I think, dipping your feet into this genre. So just let us know if you're interested in that. So that's it. Happy Horror Mayhem, everybody. Just a few weeks away. So I hope everybody. I hope you all partake. Like I said, it's no pressure. You just do it however you want. It's try to keep it low maintenance. So, but you look like you have something else to say about this. You have anything further on this? No? Okay, she looked like she was going to say something. I don't know. So, yeah, so let us know about the books, or if you have any questions. Otherwise, we hope everybody partakes. If you don't have anything substantive you want to say, you can always leave Olive a puppy emoji, because she does always like to see those. So, thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you again very soon. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.